everybody, my name is Helen, and today we are going to do my to-be-read list for the Reading Rush Readathon. For those of you who don't know, the Reading Rush, formerly known as Booktubeathon, is a readathon that is being hosted by Ariel Bissett and Raylene LeMay. They have a website up for it now. I'm going to leave my profile on it down below and you can look at the website from there. I believe it's running from the 22nd to the 28th of July. And now they have like badges and stuff. It looks like it's going to be so much fun and I am so determined to do well. So we shall see how that goes. In the meantime, I have a list of the challenges on my phone and we're going to get right into it. So the first challenge this year is to read a book with purple on the cover. And for this, I am hoping to read Sorcery of Thorns by Margaret Rogerson. And this was the Owl Crate book for June, and they are doing their book club for it at the end of the month, and I would like to take part in it. And since it is a very purple cover, I thought that it would be perfect for this prompt. Challenge number 2 is to read a book in the same spot for the entire time, and for that I have chosen Because You Love to Hate Me by a collection of booktubers and YA authors. So this is an anthology of 13 Tales of Villainy, where some booktubers gave some prompts to the authors and then they wrote a story about a villain to do with that prompt, and each of the booktubers got to write a little essay at the beginning, and so I think this will be something that'll be nice to read a little bit of every day, maybe a story or two. It includes authors such as Renee Ahdieh, Susan Dennard, Marissa Meyer, Cindy Pond, Victoria Schwab, Samantha Shannon, Adam Silvera, Andrew Smith, April Genevieve Tochuk, Nicola Yoon, and Saman Chinani, and Sarah Ennie, and Amarie, who was the editor of this book as well. And the booktubers that were involved were Benjamin of Tomes, A Book Utopia, Witty Novels, Christina Reads, Little Book Owl, Jessie the Reader, Read by Zoe, Thoughts on Tomes, The Book Basement, Padfoot and Prongzer 7, Paris Project, Poem Bananas Books, and Cuddle Buggery. So I'm very interested to read this, and it's been on my list for a while, so I am very excited to see what ends up being in here. I think it's gonna be fun. The next prompt is to read a book you meant to read last year, and for that I have chosen Miss Wood by Leah Sipis, which literally has my bookmark in it from when I started reading it last year, and I was really enjoying it. I only read the first 2 chapters, so I'm hoping that I can read this time around and actually finish it. This is about a girl named Isabel, and she is found in the woods. She's a shifter, and a prince finds her and brings her home and says that he was sent to find her, and she remembers nothing. And it sounds like it's going to be really interesting. I remember loving the first 2 chapters and being super into it, and then just being in such a reading slump that I couldn't keep going. So hopefully I will get to read this and finally be able to say that I read it. Prompt number 4 is to read an author's first book, and for that I have chosen To Kill a Kingdom by Alexandra Christo. This is her first book, and it sounds so cool, and I really, really want to read it. This is about a siren princess who needs to collect hearts, and she is robbed of her voice, so she's unable to lure people to their deaths, and there is someone whose heart she needs to capture. So it sounds like it's gonna be really fun, and I'm very interested to see what happens with this. I think it's gonna be great. Prompt number 5 is to read a book with a non-human main character, and for that I have chosen The Brides of Roll Rock Island by Margot Lanigan, which follows the Selkie myth, and I believe that many of the main characters in here are Selkies, so that should be interesting. I've heard very mixed things about this book. I've heard that it's a little bit slow-paced and difficult to get through, even though it is very short. But ever since hearing about it, I've just been very intrigued, so I'm hoping that I will get to this in the readathon. And like I said, it's really short, so it's like a perfect readathon book, so fingers crossed. The next prompt is to read a book with a title that has 5 or more words, and for that I have chosen Girls of Paper and Fire by Natasha Ingen. This was one of the books I pulled out of my TBR jar this month, so it seemed kind of perfect. Plus I've heard such good things, and it's a sapphic romance, which I'm into, so yes, I would very much like to read this month. And finally, the last prompt is to read and watch a book-to-movie adaptation, and so I have chosen Howls Moving Castle because I love the movie and I need an excuse to rewatch it. And I've been wanting to read the book for a while. I was going to take part in the Ghibliathon last month and then just totally forgot about it, and this was going to be a book I read for that too. So this is just a further excuse to read it and enjoy it. And then of course the bonus is to read 7 books. If I read all of the books that I mentioned in this video, then I will read 7 books and I will get the badge, so fingers crossed, because that would be great. But those are all the books that I am planning on reading for this year's Reading Rush. Are you guys taking part? And if so, what books are you reading? You should let me know in the comments down below. I do respond to every comment on my videos and I absolutely love hearing from you. And I will see you soon with a new video. Bye-bye!